Hello teachers, I would like to show you how you can use ChatGPT to analyze your students' writing to determine what would be the next best lesson to teach your students. So at this point you have either assessed your students' writing on your own or you have run it through MagicSchools, and I'm going to suggest to you that you run it through MagicSchools so you can go ahead and type the feedback into ChatGPT and find out what would be the next best lesson to teach. So here I am in ChatGPT and I am going to simply type in a prompt that says, "What should I teach this student next based on the writing sample and feedback provided?" And then I'm simply going to paste in that information. I have the student's writing sample here. You don't have to start a new paragraph or anything. The areas of strength as outlined by MagicSchool's writing feedback generator, areas for growth, and so on. And then I'm just going to enter that all into ChatGPT. And you can see it generates a strategy lesson. It actually gives us several strategy lessons, including explaining more evidence and elaborating a bit more. Now, this was the student's major area of weakness. While the student was making an attempt to answer the prompt, the answers were very brief. There was not a lot of detail, and I do agree that elaboration would be the area to focus on. That seemed to be the weakest point in the student's writing. And here it gives a few different ways to do that: expanding and adding in more detail, expanding transitions, perhaps writing stronger conclusions, editing for conventions. All of these things are things that, yes, the student did indeed need to work on. But I have 2 weeks with this student before testing, so I would really like to know what would be a reasonable 2-week intervention plan with activities to help this student become a more proficient writer. And you can see that I'm really trying to just riff with ChatGPT and ask, like, what should I do over the next 2 weeks? Let's say I had a 30-minute writing period, which indeed we do. And here it gives me a plan. Now, if you go over here to, you can copy the plan, you can edit the plan. All of this is editable. Obviously, you would never just copy and paste it, but it does give you a great starting point. A day-by-day plan. You can mix and match, you can edit, you can revise, and certainly that would be helpful. At the bottom, it's asking me if I would like this formatted as a printable one-page teacher guide. I'm just going to say yes and see what that looks like. It's really helpful sometimes to get this information in a one-page format. And if you don't like the format that's provided, you can ask ChatGPT to revisualize it for you and present it in another format. So here it's worked on, it looks like 2 different formats. I'm just going to try this one, and we'll take a look at what the downloaded file looks like. So it has put it into a Word doc for me, and now I have a 2-week intervention plan on a single page that I can edit this. I can, change things around, add in my own ideas, and it certainly does a lot of the heavy lifting. Now you see that only took a moment or two to do, and imagine, the power of this if you wanted to, let's say, scan information for an entire class and then ask it to create strategy groups for you, and then you can plan small group instruction that way. So I encourage you to give it a try. It says here in ChatGPT, the prompt at the bottom is ask anything. So as you can see here, you can ask ChatGPT anything, any of those burning teacher questions, and see what responses you get. Good luck.